State Senator Don White has proposed a bill that would allow Pennsylvania teachers and school staff to carry a firearm inside school and on school grounds. This has caused much controversy between students, teachers, and even parents on whether this bill would be more or less effective for our school as a whole. Guns are a big controversy right now, but what happens when these guns are placed in the community and specifically around the school district?
Students around Big Spring seem to have certain feelings about having guns in school. Here are some of the students and their opinion on the situation. Alright, so what's your opinion on teachers being armed with guns?
I believe it depends on the teacher. You gotta kind of get a background check of the teacher. I think it can be a good idea, but at Big Spring, I don't really feel like it's necessary because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I don't think too many people want to bring a gun to school that don't need to bring a gun to school. But I mean, it could work for schools that have problems with crime and whatnot. I don't know if there's any kind of deterrent, because if somebody's really determined to do something like that, they're going to do it regardless of if you tell them to, or I hope our school board doesn't allow this, because I feel like it'll go sour real quick.
The proposed law can be passed, but without the permission of the school board. Teachers still cannot carry firearms in school. Some teachers favor carrying firearms in school, and others don't like this idea at all. However, some teachers and staff think that Officer Kosher carrying a firearm would be a better alternative to all teachers carrying guns.
What's your opinion on teachers being armed with guns?
I don't think they should be allowed to have guns in school. I think that the office should be allowed to, but not everyone, every teacher.
Do you think a lot of teachers will be willing to train and carry guns?
I don't think teachers will think it's necessary.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a good or bad idea?
I think this is a bad idea.
What are some alternatives?
I think they should be taught hand-to-hand restrictions.
Not only are students concerned about the situation, but also teachers.
I personally do not have a gun permit, and I do not personally own a firearm. I think that a pro would be that we would have a weapon at our disposal to protect our students. I am scared, actually terrified of the thought of having to protect my students, and I'm not sure how I would react. We live in a conservative area where a lot of people hunt,
Right.
and it is actually more the norm to have a firearm in someone's home. And my guess would be that probably at least 80% of the school board members hunt.
Right.
And so I would think that they would be in favor of this.
Teacher, would you personally carry a gun if you were allowed to?
No, I would not carry a gun.
In 2011, 5% of high school students carried a gun on school property, and 7% were threatened or injured by a weapon, either a gun, knife, or a club on school property. So it comes down to the question of whether or not it would be a good idea to have guns in school in the first place.
I think the world we're living in today has kind of forced us into this position of what do we do? What is the next step to protect ourselves? And the concern is not only are looking at this being an outside intruder, what if this meant we had students who came into the school, as you see sometimes, who are now acting on this? The idea of a teacher, I think, having to pull out a firearm and point it at a potential student who is looking to do harm to another student. I think, again, if it's necessary, you have to do it. I think that's what has to be done. It's a concern, again, about, you don't want to make a mistake. This is something that you are going to have to live with the rest of your life. It's just not, carrying a firearm is just not the thing I thought that I would ever be faced with as a teacher going down the road, that would be even an option even to consider as a potential thing to bring to school. And I think none of the teachers in this building would probably say that they probably would have thought that as well. Pill to swallow to think about that, that a firearm being carried by a teacher could very well become just part of the background noise of our day. I think it's a sad statement.
Overall, students and teachers think that guns are not needed in Big Spring High School, but it seems as though most teachers are open to change and are willing to cooperate. Big Spring School District as a whole is a safe environment for students and teachers.